About a month ago, I did a video talking about 10 of the most underrated debut albums. Well, in this video, I decided to look through my collection and I decided to talk about some of the worst debut albums. Now, quick disclaimer, even though the title says 10 worst, really, after going through my collection, of the 10 that I have, I wouldn't say a majority of them are bad per se. It's just that if you were to take their debut album and compare it to some of their most acclaimed albums, yeah, these tend to fall a little bit short. So regardless, hopefully this video is not going to piss too many people off. It's just my opinion, and that's where you come in. If you know any bad debut albums, then please leave it in the comments. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a like, subscribe if you are new. If you want to support the channel, check out the Patreon or become a member, and let's just get this video started. So the first debut album I'm going to show is a perfect example of it not necessarily being terrible. It's just when you compare it to some of their more well-liked albums, it does fall flat. And it's going to be Aerosmith's debut from 1973. Now there are some good songs on here. You know, Make It's a good opening song. And of course it has the big song Dream On, which is a classic. And Mama Kin's a good track too. But it is well documented that, you know, Steven Tyler was very insecure of his voice at this point, so he kind of tried to put on this like James Brown sort of impression, which is kind of off-putting when you first hear it because you're expecting that classic Steven Tyler screaming demon sort of sound, but it's not really here aside from Dream On. He kind of plays it really safe, and that's really what the music is too. It's not too crazy or anything. It's just pretty solid rock music. Again, not bad, but not quite the Aerosmith that we know and love yet. There's still some growing pains, but some seeds on what the band would become are on here. So I like it, but just not the greatest debut, especially on the vocal department. But now we get to this one, and yeah, I am not a fan of this one. I think it's pretty bad, but I know it has some fans. But it's good to know that even the artist disowns this album. That's David Bowie's debut from 1967. And yeah, I'm not into this. Like, it's kind of this weird, whimsical, psychedelic, poppy, musical theater, music hall sort of thing. And a lot of it just doesn't work for me. You know, Uncle Arthur's kind of creepy if you really think hard about it. But you know, Some of Your Coat's okay. Love You Till Tuesday is fine. But then you have some bizarre songs like We Are Hungry Men, where he does this like German thing, which is kind of bizarre. And then a lot of the songs also borderline just being unmemorable. It's kind of lame. And yeah, it's just pretty all over the place. And I also gotta mention the last song, Please Mr. Gravedigger, probably the most bizarro, like creepy way to end the album. This weird like audiobook thing. It's not a good album, but it's got some defenders, so if you're one of them, I'm sorry, but I am not one of them. And this next one I'll show is, I know this is gonna get me some flack because I know this band has a big cult following, but I'm sorry, but I'm just not into Devo's debut. It's too weird even for me, which is not gonna be the last time I'll say something like this in this video. But yeah, I mean, I like Whip It. I think Whip It's a good song, but everything besides Whip It, I just don't really have a need to go back and listen to it again. It's, you know, it's new wave, and you know, they're kind of seen as pioneers of the new wave sound. But yeah, I just like other new wave acts a lot more. And also, I really hate their cover of I Can't Get No Satisfaction. I think it's really bad. But yeah, not a fan of that one. Here's another one where it's not terrible again, but it's just not memorable. That's gonna be the Doobie Brothers' debut. Again, not horrible, not the worst. I mean, I prefer this over Devo any day, but yeah, it's just kind of plain. Nothing too in your face. It's just pretty average rock music at this time when this came out, 1971, yeah. And you know, they haven't really had any big hits or anything. It's just decent, like, I don't know what you call them. Like, I know it's rock music, but what type of rock are we talking about? But you know, it sounds okay. Again, just nothing. They're kind of still figuring things out at this point. And this one might be divisive as well, because you know, I've seen some people talk highly of this period of the band, and I don't hate it as well. But again, it's nothing I go back to, and it's gonna be Electric Light Orchestra's debut. Again, I know there's people who defend this period of the band, saying it's the most proggy era, but I don't know. It just doesn't all work for me. Now, I think the reason is I like a lot of the Jeff Lynne stuff, but I am not really a fan of the Roy Wood stuff. I am not into his vocals. I just think it's kind of doesn't really fit on a lot of the music here, and it's just very off-putting. And it's just kind of, yeah, I'm kind of glad he didn't stick around for too long, because I think the band would go on to do even greater things. But again, the debut, kind of a bit more rough around the edges, and I can respect it, but not my version of ELO. But that's just me. And now we go back to another album where it has a lot of praise, but also a lot of haters, and sadly, I'm one of them. Frank Zappa, Freak Out. Now, I must say, I enjoy some Frank Zappa. I enjoy a lot of his jazz fusion period. But this period, yeah, again, similar to the Devo, it's a bit too weird even for me, because it's very all over the place. Again, in some regards, I can respect it, because I can tell Frank's not taking himself that seriously. But it's just so out there. Very psychedelic, very garage rock, and I can only take so much of it. But again, I don't hate Frank Zappa. I respect him a lot. I love Hot Rats, but this is not my period of Frank. That makes any sense. All right, dropped one, leaving that in. But in any case, next step, I'm gonna go with Genesis's debut. Now, another one of those albums where it's not inherently bad, but again, when you know what they're capable of, yeah, there's really no need to go back to this. You know, it's kind of decent psychedelic pop, very Bee Gees inspired, but yeah, it's kind of boring for the most part. It's kind of generic sounding, a lot of the tracks are. You know, Peter Gabriel still sounds fine. The music itself is okay, but aside from a few songs like where the sour turns to sweet, the Silent Sun, anything else in the Wilderness was pretty good, but aside from a lot of those songs, the rest is just very unmemorable. They don't stick with me. Every once in a while I'll check back on it as a curiosity's sake, but yeah, I mean, by the time you get to Trespass, you completely forget this album exists. Anyway, now I know my friend Nick's a big fan of the Hollies, but I think he can agree this is not a good debut. You know, it's them trying to be similar to the Beatles, a lot of covers, and yeah, just nothing really that special about it. It's pretty plain Jane. I mean, even the album cover is pretty plain. Nothing really to write home about. It's interesting, solid, but again, just nothing to write home about. Just very unremarkable. And here's another one that's pretty interesting. Now, I don't hate this album as well. You know, Judas Priest, Rock'n'Rolla. It's a solid debut. But it's another one of those albums where you can hear where they're trying, what they're trying to do, but they haven't quite reached it yet. But you can still hear the seeds on what Judas Priest would become, especially when you get to the next album, which totally blows this one out of the water. But you know, there's some okay songs. You know, Rob Halford still sounds pretty good guitar work. Songs just aren't quite there yet. Now, I will say, I think just recently they just came out with a new remix version of this album, and I have heard snippets of it, and it actually sounds really good, because this copy that I have is more inclined to the original mix, and that's another thing about this album. It's not really the best sounding album, But who knows, maybe one day I'll pick up that remixed version. Sounds pretty good. But if we're talking about the original mix, yeah, it still is not one of the greatest debuts ever. And then I have one more to go, and funny enough, it's an album I've talked about a little bit in recent times. And then the band is UFO with UFO 1. Now I'm not going to go too in depth because I did a whole video talking about the history and giving my whole in-depth thoughts on this album. To give you like the Spark Notes version of it, not horrible, but it's not really space rock at all, and it's solid rock sort of blues sort of thing, but again, nothing to write home about. It's just okay. But there you go. Those are the 10 worst debuts I have in my collection. Now I'll say it one more time. A good chunk of these, I don't consider them that bad, but it's just nothing like what they would go on to make that are considered classics. I mean, some of these debuts are kind of worth checking out just as a curiosity's sake, but they're not really mandatory, if that makes any sense. I know there's going to be a few that are going to be kind of mad about some of the choices I've made, but again, like I said in the beginning, that's where you come in. So again, if you have any other 10 bad debut albums, please leave in the comments. I know Alice Cooper has a bad debut, but I don't own it, so I didn't mention it. But I know some people I know have heard it and say it's bad, but stuff like that. But if you did enjoy this video, please give this video a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new. If you want to support the channel, Patreon, or become a YouTube member, all the links are in the description. But until then, I will see you in the next video. So take care and goodbye for now.